You want to waste your life perfectly. Most people do it by accident. They stumble into misery without a plan. They drift through decades feeling empty, wondering where it all went wrong. No direction, no system, just slow, agonizing failure. But you're smarter than that. You're here because you want precision. You want a formula. A guaranteed method to drain every drop of satisfaction from your existence and ensure you never experience lasting happiness. And that's exactly what you're about to get. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn the 5 laws of misery, not theories, not suggestions, laws. Follow them consistently, and I promise you'll achieve something remarkable. A completely wasted life. These laws have been tested across millions of people. They work. They work so well that most people are already following 3 or 4 of them without even realizing it. They're halfway to total misery and don't even know they're doing it right. But you're about to get the full blueprint. Each law builds on the others. They work together like a machine designed specifically to crush joy. By the end of this, you'll have the complete system. No more accidentally stumbling into moments of contentment. No more randomly experiencing satisfaction. You'll know exactly how to guarantee suffering. Here's what makes this beautiful. These aren't complicated. You don't need special skills. You don't need resources. You just need consistency. Practice these laws daily, every single day, and within months, you'll look in the mirror and see someone who has successfully destroyed their own potential. Happiness permanently out of reach. Decades of regret secured. A life perfectly wasted. Sound good? Then pay close attention. Because once you understand these 5 laws, you'll have no excuse for accidentally living well. Let's begin. Law 1. The comparison law. Measure your life through other people. Simple, but devastatingly effective. Never look at your own life directly. Always view it through someone else's lens. Here's how this works. Open Instagram. Your friend posts vacation photos from Greece. Immediately, and I mean within seconds, your own life shrinks. You were fine 5 minutes ago. Now you're behind. Now you're losing. Someone announces a promotion. Your job, which was perfectly acceptable yesterday, now feels like failure. Someone buys a house. Your apartment, which you liked last week, now feels like settling. Wedding announcement? Start counting how many years you've been single. Baby photos? Calculate how far behind you are on the life timeline. You're at dinner. Someone casually mentions their salary. Watch what happens in your head. You're doing math, comparing, calculating, ranking. Who's winning? Who's losing? Where do you fall in the hierarchy? This is the foundation of the comparison law. Turn everything into a scoreboard. Possessions, achievements, relationships, experiences. Keep a running tally of who has more. And here's the crucial part. Assume whoever has more is automatically happier. This is essential for maximum misery. Here's the advanced technique. Always compare your beginning to someone else's middle, your chapter 3 to their chapter 20, your struggle to their victory lap, your first year to their 10th. This way, you can never win. There's always someone ahead, always someone with more, always someone who got there faster. The perfect formula: stay exactly 5 minutes away from happiness. Always. When you get what you wanted, immediately find someone who has more. Move the target. Shift the goalpost. Never arrive. Someone making 50,000? Compare yourself to someone making 80. Making 80? Compare to someone making 200. Making 200? There's always someone making 1,000,000. Got the promotion? Compare yourself to the person 2 levels above. Bought the house? Compare to someone with a bigger one. Got married? Compare your relationship to couples who seem more in love. This is the heart of the comparison law. Make your satisfaction completely dependent on how you measure up to others. Never on whether you have what you actually need. Never on whether you're content with your own progress. Keep your eyes on everyone else's scoreboard, never on your own life. Follow this law religiously, and you'll achieve something remarkable. You'll turn every achievement into evidence of inadequacy. Every success into proof you're behind. Every moment of satisfaction into temporary relief before the next comparison. Law 2, the next level. Law, move the goalpost forever. This is where you make satisfaction structurally impossible. The instruction is simple. Believe that happiness is always one upgrade away. Repeat this mantra daily. When I get X, I'll be happy. When I earn more, I'll be satisfied. When I have status, I'll finally feel complete. Here's the cycle. You set a goal. You convince yourself, truly convince yourself, that this is it. When you hit this target, everything changes. You sacrifice for it, you grind for it, you delay gratification. You tell yourself it'll all be worth it when you get there. You finally achieve it. And within days, sometimes hours, the satisfaction evaporates. Gone. You're already eyeing the next level. You dreamed of making 6 figures. You hit it. But now people you know make 7. The target moved. You wanted the promotion. Got it. But there's another level above, another title, another rung. You wanted the relationship. Got it. But you see couples who seem happier, more in love, more complete. Here's what you've done. You've designed a system where satisfaction is structurally impossible. Every achievement is just proof you're not there yet. The finish line keeps moving, not because of external forces, because you move it yourself. The moment you arrive, you invent a new destination. Here's the advanced technique for maximum effectiveness. Set vapid goals. Vague, amorphous, pie in the sky, irrelevant, delayed. Make your goals so distant, so abstract, that 99% of your life is spent in the state of not yet. If there are 50 steps to your goal, 49 of them feel like failure. Only the 50th counts. And when you reach 50, you discover there are actually 100 steps, then 200, then infinite. This is perfect. You've created a system where you're always behind, always insufficient, always not quite there. Someone making 50,000 thinks they'll be happy at 80. Gets to 80, now it's 200. Gets to 200, now it's 1,000,000. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that it's always just out of reach. Got the car you wanted? There's a better model. Bought the house you dreamed of? Someone has a bigger one. Achieved the body you worked for? There's another level of fitness. Reached the status you chased? Someone has more. The trap is perfect. Make happiness conditional on outcomes you haven't achieved yet. This guarantees you'll never be satisfied with now. Today is always just preparation for someday, and someday never comes, because the moment it arrives, it becomes today, and you're already looking at the next someday. You've turned your entire life into a waiting room, waiting to be happy, waiting to be satisfied, waiting to finally feel like you've made it. And while you wait, your life is passing. Follow this law correctly, and you'll spend decades chasing satisfaction that dissolves the moment you touch it. Every achievement becomes just another reminder that you're still not there yet. Law 3, the negativity. Law, take everything personally, complain, and live outside the present. This is where you guarantee constant suffering regardless of circumstances. The foundation, complain about everything. The weather's too hot, too cold, too humid. The traffic, the noise, your neighbors, the government, the system, your job, your commute, the prices, the news. Everything is wrong, and you need to vocalize it constantly. But that's just the warm-up. Here's the advanced technique for maximum misery. Delete the present moment entirely. The present is dangerous. It's where life actually happens, where you might accidentally experience something real. We can't have that. So split your consciousness between 2 places, the past and the future. Wake up. Immediately replay your failures. That thing you said 5 years ago that still makes you cringe. The opportunity you missed. The person who wronged you. The unfairness. The embarrassment. Run it back. Watch it again. Feel it fresh. And here's what makes this perfect. Your mind won't replay it accurately. Research confirms this. When you ruminate on the past, your brain doesn't show you what actually happened. It shows you a version specifically designed to hurt more. It selects your worst memories and interprets them even worse than they were. You're not remembering the past. You're creating new pain from old events. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Confine yourself to the present. But that's terrible advice if you want to be miserable. The person living in the past is suffering events that no longer exist. Perfect. Keep doing that. Now for the evenings. Spend every evening in the future. Catastrophize. Play the what-if game with commitment. What if you fail? What if they judge you? What if you lose everything? What if disaster strikes? What if you're exposed? What if it all falls apart? Create vivid, detailed scenarios of terrible things that haven't happened and probably never will. Make them real in your mind. Feel the anxiety. Let it consume you. You're experiencing pain from events that may never arrive. Manufactured suffering with no real object. Beautiful. But here's the pro tip, the technique that separates amateurs from masters. Do this right before bed. Right as you're trying to fall asleep, think about something terrible that might happen tomorrow. Really let your mind consume it. Visualize every detail, every way it could go wrong, every catastrophic outcome. Now try to sleep. This maximizes misery and ruins your rest simultaneously. Highly efficient. What you've achieved here is remarkable. You're experiencing pain from 3 different timelines at once. Pain from the past that's over, pain from the future that hasn't happened, and pain from the present moment because you're not actually in it. You're stuck between memory and imagination. The past is gone, the future hasn't arrived, and you're missing the only moment that actually exists. This one. But as long as you never live in the present, you can guarantee constant suffering from phantom sources, problems that don't exist, wounds that have healed, disasters that may never come. Follow this law, and you'll successfully turn your mind into a machine that generates pain regardless of external reality. Your circumstances don't even matter anymore. You're self-sufficient in misery. Law 4, the hollow success. Law, make money and status your only meaning. This is where you build your entire identity on sand. Define success as one thing only: external achievement, money, title, power, luxury, approval. These are your gods. Everything else is distraction. Measure your worth in dollars and titles. Your job isn't what you do, it's who you are. Your bank balance isn't a number, it's your value as a human being. Your status isn't social position, it's your proof of existence. When someone asks what you do, you don't just answer, you position yourself. You establish rank. Because your work isn't separate from your identity, it is your identity. Here's what makes this law particularly effective. Viktor Frankl noticed something strange among his clients. The most privileged ones, the successful ones, people who had everything: money, status, achievement, recognition. The most common complaint wasn't failure, it was emptiness. Not stress, not overwork, not difficulty. Emptiness. He called this the existential vacuum. A deep, gnawing sense that despite having everything, life feels pointless. It manifests as boredom, restless, undirected energy with nowhere to go. Because here's what happened. You spent your entire life chasing outcomes instead of building meaning. You hit every target. You climbed every ladder. You achieved everything you set out to achieve. And you arrived at the top, feeling nothing. Success becomes the problem, not because it's bad, but because you finally got there, and the satisfaction you'd been promised your whole life never showed up. So here's the devastating instruction for maximum effectiveness. Become your job. Not someone who has a job, someone who is their job. You're not a person with accomplishments. You are your accomplishments. Your company, your title, your income, these aren't things you have. They're who you are. Strip away the job title, and what's left? Strip away the income, and who are you? If the answer is unclear, you've followed this law perfectly. Psychologists have a term for what happens when a person defines themselves entirely through external achievements and then loses those achievements. Identity foreclosure. Not just loss of career or status. Collapse of the self. Retired athletes experience this. Laid-off executives, failed entrepreneurs. They don't just lose their position, they lose themselves. They were their achievement. When it disappeared, they disappeared with it. You've seen this. The person who retires and withers. The executive who gets let go and falls apart. The athlete whose career ends and they have no idea who they are anymore. It's not about the money, it's about the fact that their entire sense of self was built on something external, something fragile, something temporary. Think now. If someone asks, "Who are you?" what's your first instinct? Your name or your job title? If it's the latter, you're already executing this law. The trap is perfect. Build your sense of self on something you don't control, something that can be taken from you, something external, fragile, and temporary. Make sure that when it goes, and it will go eventually, you go with it. Law 5, the isolation and avoidance law. Cut connection, avoid discomfort, stop living. This is where you shrink your life down to nothing. Let fear run everything. Anytime something makes you slightly uncomfortable, avoid it. That conversation you need to have, postpone it. That risk you want to take, wait for better conditions. That new experience calling to you, maybe later. When you're ready, that thing you've been wanting to do for months, years, you're still waiting to feel ready. Here's the advanced technique. Abandon anything that doesn't feel productive. Hobbies? Waste of time. Passion? Doesn't pay bills. Play? That's for children. Creativity? Impractical. Cut all of it. Focus only on what's productive, which really means focus only on what makes you miserable. The instruction is simple. Avoid everything that makes you feel alive. Avoid risks. Avoid change. Avoid rejection. Avoid embarrassment. Avoid new experiences. Avoid discomfort of any kind. Stay exactly where you are. Your comfort zone is your prison, and you're both the guard and the inmate. You'll do that thing when you feel ready. You'll make that move when circumstances are perfect. You'll take that chance when you're not nervous anymore, which means never. Because here's what you're waiting for, a version of yourself that doesn't feel fear, that doesn't feel nervous, that doesn't feel uncomfortable. That version doesn't exist, so you keep waiting. And while you wait, opportunities pass. Experiences dissolve. Time runs out. But here's what you're actually doing. You're trading a full life for a safe life. And calling it wisdom, calling it being responsible, calling it waiting for the right time. Imagine this. You're 80 years old, looking back at your life, all the things you didn't do, all the experiences you avoided, all the risks you didn't take, all the conversations you postponed, all the connections you never made. You realize you wasted it, but you wasted it safely. You stayed comfortable right up until the end. You never got hurt, never got embarrassed, never got rejected. You also never really lived. Keep waiting, keep avoiding, keep shrinking. Every time discomfort appears, retreat. Make your life smaller and smaller until there's nothing left but safety and regret. This is Law 5. Follow it religiously, and you'll successfully turn your existence into a waiting room where nothing ever happens, and you're always preparing for a life you never actually live. 5 laws, the complete system. Follow these consistently, practice them daily, and you're guaranteed a miserable life. Wake up and immediately start comparing yourself to others. Measure your worth by their achievements. Move your goalposts the moment you achieve anything. Make satisfaction structurally impossible. Spend your mornings replaying past failures. Spend your evenings catastrophizing about disasters that haven't happened. Delete the present entirely. Make money and status your only definition of worth. Build your identity on something external and fragile. Let fear control every decision. Cut connection. Avoid discomfort. Shrink your life down to nothing. Do this for a month, a year, a decade. Watch how effectively you drain every drop of joy from your existence. It's really quite remarkable how well these laws work together. They reinforce each other. Each one makes the others stronger. You now have something most people never get: explicit instructions for guaranteed misery. No more stumbling into unhappiness by accident. No more wondering why nothing feels right. You can do it deliberately, with precision, with mastery. So here's what happens next. You have 2 paths in front of you. Path 1, you commit to these laws. You're ready to practice them daily for guaranteed misery. You see the system, and you choose to execute it with discipline. You accept that comparing yourself to others, chasing satisfaction that evaporates, living outside the present, building your identity on status, and avoiding all discomfort is the life you want. If that's you, if you're ready to execute these laws, go to the comments right now and write exactly, "I'm ready to execute the laws." Type it, lock it in, declare your commitment to systematic unhappiness. Path 2. You reject this entire system. You see these patterns and you choose to flip them. You choose to stop comparing your life to others and start measuring it by your own values. You choose to stop moving goalposts and find satisfaction in progress, not just outcomes. You choose to live in the present instead of torturing yourself with past and future. You choose to build meaning beyond money and status. You choose to embrace discomfort and actually live instead of shrinking into safety. If that's you, if you reject being miserable, go to the comments and write, "I reject being miserable." Type it. Make it a declaration. 2 choices, 2 paths. Pick one, right now. If this made you see something you needed to see, even if it was uncomfortable, even if it was disguised as instructions for misery, support this work. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. This is for people who'd rather see the mechanism than stay blind to it, who'd rather understand how misery works than accidentally follow its laws for decades, who recognize that sometimes the truth needs to be delivered backwards to be seen clearly. 2 paths. You know which one you're taking.